Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being in the Laredo College regular board meeting. It is Thursday, March 26th, and it's approximately 6 p.m. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Secretary.
Yes, sir. Esteban Rangel,
Present.
Ernestina Tita Vela, Jackie Levin Ramos present, Cindy Liendo,
Present.
Erica Benavides Garcia, Mercurio Martinez Jr., Adriana Alexander, Lizzie Newsome, absent, Karina Elizondo. I make a motion to accept Ms. Newsome's excuse for being absent today.
There's a motion.
Second.
There's a second, a motion by Ms. Ramos, a second by Ms. Diendo. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No, motion passes. Thank you. Just to recognize the Vice President of the Board, Ms. Tita Vela, is walking in. If we could please stand, and Ms. Erica Garcia, can you please give a prayer, and Judge, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to gather and discuss the important matters before us. We ask for your guidance and wisdom and unity as we work together. May your peace and grace be with us throughout this meeting. Amen. Let us observe a moment of silence to honor the memory of Dr. Henry S. Carranza, who recently passed and served on the board from 2016 to 2022. For all of the special intentions we hold in our hearts. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia and Judge Martinez. I do want to just also say my condolences to Mr. Carranza's family. He was a very good friend of ours of the board, great intentions all the time. I had the privilege to serve with him for 4 years, and it was a true honor to serve with that man. He did a lot of work, not just as a board member, but outside in the community. So my condolences to his family. Public testimony, item number 3.
There is none, sir.
Thank you. Item number 4, recognition and introductions. I'm going to call on Mr. Ruben Villarreal for 4A, recognitions of Ms. Paula Castro.
Good evening, Board President Rangel, esteemed members of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Ramirez, Vice Presidents, faculty, staff, and distinguished guests. My name is Ruben Villarreal, Public Information Officer for Laredo College. We're going to move to Agenda Item 4 under Recognitions and Introductions. Under Agenda Item 4A, it is my privilege to present this recognition highlighting an outstanding achievement. Paola Castro, a student in Laredo College's dance department, has been selected to join the Joffrey Ballet School's year-round trainee program in New York City. These featured dancers begin their journey as students in the Joffrey Summer Intensive and are then hand-selected by the school to join its year-round trainee program. Through an academic partnership between the University of Akron and the renowned Joffrey Ballet School, Paola will also pursue a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Dance in the Buchtel College of Arts and Sciences, while training with world-class instructors at the Joffrey Ballet campus in New York City. Her instructors, Patricia Godinez and Cristina Greco, shared their pride in her achievement. Patricia Godinez said, "The Laredo College Dance Department is overjoyed to witness Paola's remarkable growth and dedication to her art." Cristina Greco added, "We are beyond proud to have been a part of Paola's journey." In a recent interview published in Divino magazine, Paola said, "After joining the Laredo College dance program, I truly felt myself growing, both artistically and technically, as a dancer and as a person. I am infinitely grateful to have Ms. Godinez and Ms. Greco as my instructors and mentors." She also shared, since joining the dance program at Laredo College, my teachers, classmates, and friends in the dance community have supported me tremendously and helped me believe that a path like the Joffrey Ballet is possible. Let us congratulate Paola Castro. We can have Paola come up so you can take a picture. Did you want to say a few words, Paola?
Do you want to say a few words?
She's going to say a few words and then.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Me gustaría extender mi más sincero agradecimiento a la doctora Minita Ramírez por su continuo apoyo a las artes y por asegurar la continuidad del programa de danza. Su compromiso con el Departamento de Bellas Artes y Comunicación ha impactado profundamente mi trayectoria. Gracias a su apoyo, doctora Ramírez, tengo el honor de continuar mi formación en la Joffrey Ballet School en la ciudad de Nueva York. Estoy profundamente agradecida por su papel en la formación de mi futuro. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Dra. Minita Ramirez for her continued support of the arts and for ensuring the continuation of the dance program. Her commitment to the Fine Arts and Communication Department has profoundly impacted my journey. Because of your support, Dra. Ramirez, I am honored to continue my training at the Joffrey Ballet School in New York City. I am deeply grateful for your role in shaping my future. Thank you so much.
Board member? Ms. Godinez? Ms. Godinez? Would you like to say something? That's her instructor, Ms. Godinez.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say how proud I am of Paola Castro. She's shown amazing dedication for her art, and she really does, she sacrifices so much to get to where she is, and she's proven to be an amazing, amazing dancer. So I look forward to seeing her grow, and it was wonderful having her as my student. And for those that are going to go to our concert May 2nd, you're going to get to see her at her best. And I'm so excited for her. So thank you so much, Paola.
So,
Thank you so much.
on behalf
Dr.
of the
Ramirez.
board, we want to congratulate Ms. Castro, but we also want to congratulate Ms. Godinez for your hard work and dedication. So thank you so much, ma'am. Como quiera. Board members, if we could step so we could have a picture.
That's amazing. It's hard. Very hard to get there.
Sorry, I didn't. Huh? Nothing. Thank you, and once again, congratulations to Ms. Castro and Ms. Godinez for everything they've done. We're going to continue with item number 5, Laredo College Student Government Association report. Dr. Ramirez went ahead and advised that there is no report this month, so we're just going to go ahead and move on to item number 6, board committee reports. 6A, Building Committee meeting report. Ms. Liendo.
Thank you, Mr. Rangel. So the building committee meeting was held on Tuesday, March 24th. And the first item on the agenda was to discuss the approval of visual and performing arts building roof restoration. Mr. Vela presented that they were recommending for approval a contract to American Contracting and Roofing in the amount of $1,661,000, and that is to repair 38,200 square feet of existing roof. This project includes a $50,000 contingency for unforeseen expenses, and there will be a 20-year warranty on the material and a 2-year warranty on the work. The funding is coming from deferred maintenance funds. The current roof is 16 years old, so the committee is recommending approval. The second item on the agenda was discussion of the final action plans for move-in and openings of the Laredo College South Raquel Gonzalez Automotive Technology Center, Laredo College Lamar Bruni Vergara Environmental Center, and the Laredo College Dr. Domingo Arechiga Hall. Mr. Vela presented, and he advised us that move-in has already begun at the Lamar Bruni Vergara Environmental Center. The animals have been relocated to the facility. The animal enclosures and landscaping are complete, but the only things that are pending right now are the furniture and the signage for the animal enclosures. We're also pending the fence, and we are looking at an opening date in May, and I see that that has been finalized, and we will be having the reopening on May 4th at 10 a.m. And this is open to the general public, so we hope that everybody will come out and see the beautiful new facilities. We also discussed the Arechiga Hall. All construction is complete, and that building will be housing the advising center. Facilities worked on the irrigation. Furniture has been delivered pending the seating features. We're also pending the building plaque, and move-in will be done in phases so as not to disturb the actual services to the students. And that ribbon cutting is also being tentatively scheduled for May of 2026. At the Raquel Gonzalez Automotive Technology Center, construction is complete. We are pending the installation of one air compressor in the auto body area, but the students are already using the facility, and there is a ribbon cutting scheduled for April 17th. Tours will be scheduled for the board before the grand opening. And that was all that we discussed.
Thank you, Ms. Liendo. I do wanna just mention that I was also in the committee meeting. I wanna those buildings that are gonna be open. I wanna congratulate Mr. Vela and Mr. Tijerina for the hard work that they've been doing on these. So thank you so much. Next one, 6B, the Finance Audit Committee meeting by Ms. Ernestina Tita Vela. Ms. Vela?
Yes, we met on Tuesday at noon, and it was a very fruitful meeting. We discussed a new grant. Actually, it's not a new grant, it's a grant that we've had before, that is going to give us $78,152 for the police department. And this is going to be used for equipment that they need. Our financial report was given to us by Mr. Vela, and we have another very strong year, which is good. Our taxes up until I think last month is at 82.7%, which is again very good. We discussed the ratification of the cloud backup and the disaster recovery renewal. And again, this is, what we need for all the internet and all of our technology that we have here. We further discussed some purchases that we need for the South Campus that we will discuss in a while in executive session and then come out and take action on that. Pretty much that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Vela. We're gonna move on to item number 7, informational items. We're gonna start off with 7A, Rio Grande Valley Civil War Trail for Fort McIntosh Historical Site. Dr. Laura Ramirez Cruz.
Good evening, members of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Minita Ramirez, and all of our guests. It is my pleasure to announce that Laredo College was recently in receipt of 2 historical markers that were presented to Laredo College by the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley CHAPS program, acknowledging the significant role that Fort McIntosh played in the Texas Rio Grande Valley Civil War Trail. There are 2 other sites in Laredo that have these markers in place that signify the role that Laredo played during the U.S. Civil War in the 1860s. One of them is located at San Agustin Plaza, and the second one at Zacate Creek. I was contacted about a year ago by the director of the CHAPS program at UTRGV to see if we would be interested in erecting markers at Fort McIntosh at our campus in order to signify the significance that this military facility played during the time of the American Civil War and the period shortly after that. So after negotiating with them for quite a while, we were able to get the signage complete, and as you can see on the screen, we received the signage about two weeks ago from UTRGV, and Dr. Ramirez was kind enough to pose with our new signage in the boardroom in the West Building. After discussing this information with Dr. Ramirez, we still haven't decided exactly where it's going to be placed, but the 2 suggestions that were made would be, we have 2 sites. So one would be possibly right when we cross the bridge at the entrance to the Fort McIntosh campus, and possibly in the area around the private David Barclay Cantu Chapel in front of our Veterans Walkway. I am a historian, so I would be remiss if I didn't provide a little context for what the Civil War Trail significance means. So if you will grant me the opportunity to share a little bit of research that Dr. Jerry Thompson has prepared regarding the awarding of this signage. So Fort McIntosh was established in a bend on the Rio Grande less than a mile above Laredo on March 3rd, 1849, just below a favorite Indian crossing on the river called Paseo de los Indios. Originally named Camp Crawford, it was later renamed in honor of Lieutenant Colonel James Simmons McIntosh, who died of wounds received during the Mexican-American War in the 19th century. 9 of the 19 men who commanded the isolated post in the years prior to the Civil War became generals during the United States Civil War. These include Union Generals Philip H. Sheridan and Randolph B. Marcy, as well as 1 Confederate General, James E. Slaughter. With the secession of Texas in 1861, the small garrison of federal troops departed Laredo, and Charles Callahan, an agent for the state of Texas, took possession of Fort McIntosh. Shortly thereafter, the facility was turned over to Colonel Santos Benavides. Many of us know this name as part of our Laredo history, who moved his headquarters to Fort McIntosh from San Agustin Plaza. However, early in the war, most of the buildings were sold by town authorities, and in 1865, there was very little left of the original military post. When the United States Army, including the use of United States colored troops following the Civil War, reoccupied the property in 1865, Fort McIntosh was rebuilt brick by brick and continued as one of the major posts on the Rio Grande. It was officially deactivated after World War II. The property was turned over to the Laredo Independent School District, which established the community college on this site. Many of the buildings, including one of the barracks buildings dating back to the 1880s, which we know as Arechiga Hall, today can be seen at Laredo College by all visitors to our campus. After Fort Ringgold, located in Brownsville, the structures still standing at Fort McIntosh are the 2nd largest group of military buildings that exist today in the Rio Grande Valley. This constitutes special recognitions for Fort McIntosh to become a part of the Civil War Trail in the Rio Grande Valley. The historic buildings represent 3 ways of construction with different styles. Those built by U.S. colored troops in the late 1860s, immediately following the end of the U.S. Civil War, include a bakery, the company storehouse, and the post hospital. Those built during the post-Reconstruction period in 1885 include the officers' quarters, the commanding officers' quarters, and the post guardhouse. and those built in 1905 at the turn of the 20th century, such as the enlisted men's barracks. So I wanted to thank Jerry Thompson for the research that he provided for this presentation. As many of you know, he's currently working on a book that's going to outline the importance and significance of Fort McIntosh and the role that it played in our community and the Rio Grande Valley during the American Civil War. Having spoken to him recently, that book should be ready in about a year and a half. He's already written 400 pages, so it's definitely going to be a significant work that's already been selected for publication. So this signage not only represents the role that Fort McIntosh played in the Civil War, but the historical significance of this college campus in Texas history and American history.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Very, very much. Thank you, Dr. Cruz. Any questions, comments? No? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yes,
We still have the
Chair
bakery.
recognizes
I'm
Ms.
sorry?
Vela.
We still have the bakery, am I correct? The building?
Right here, it's the first building, well, the second building to our right.
Right.
Yes, and many of the historical buildings, as you all know, still exist and have been updated and repaired and restored over the years. But there's probably still about 8 buildings on this campus that have very significant historical purpose, especially those that were built by the U.S. colored troops in the 1860s.
I would imagine maybe the old.
We can't hear you, ma'am.
I'm sorry, because I'm far away from the thing. I'm fat. Oh. I would imagine the old art building, Martha Fenstermakers?
Yes.
That would be one, am I
Yes,
correct?
absolutely, absolutely. And there's a number of buildings,
Beautiful.
such as as we call them, the casitas, right by the river, that also served as part of the military installation, but they were built during a later period. So the ones with the most significance, probably the most significance, would probably be Arechica Hall, because that was one of the original buildings of Fort McIntosh. So I'm really looking forward to looking at the research that Dr. Jerry Thompson has compiled regarding our campus, and I'm sure that it will serve as a point of pride for all of us that work here on a daily basis to know and understand the historical significance of our surroundings.
Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
Thank you, and thank you, Dr. Lara Ramirez Cruz. In addition to all of her other duties as dean, this is something that, her attempts and work with the Rio Grande Valley organization to get this distinction is a great honor. We are going to determine at some point, probably in the next couple of weeks, when where we're going to put them, but I do think that next to the historical marker that we have at the entrance would probably be a great place for it, and next to the cannon that resides in front of the David B. Barclay Chapel would be the other location. I have been working now with Dr. Thompson on this book for like 10 months, more or less, right? Dr. Ortiz received a grant that has helped us give him an honorarium to do this work. And so we're certainly looking forward to the next phase of that. We meet on Saturdays and work on this, and so it's been a lot of fun. We all share the same history background, so I do look forward to the final product of this book that will actually formally commemorate in writing all of the history with photographs that not only are here, but that he's been able to find at the Library of Congress. And so we thank you.
If I may make one more comment, Dr. Ramirez, he's actually made 4 trips to Washington, D.C. in order to conduct the research necessary for writing this book. And he was also able to come into possession of about 70 photographs of the Fort McIntosh at various times throughout its history. And of course, if any of you know Jerry Thompson, he has some wonderful stories of research that he's uncovered that he's very excited to share in this new book that he's working on. So we all look forward to reading that and working closely with him. And then, of course, having a dedication ceremony when the historical markers are placed, and then, of course, when the book is published.
Very good.
Very
Thank
good.
you, Dr.
Thank you
Ramirez
so
Gross.
much.
Thank you so much. Item 7B, discussion and possible presentation of Laredo College hiring practice. Ms. Adriana Alexander.
Discussion on the Laredo College hiring practices and interim administrative appointments. Staff recommendation for presentation as requested by Ms. Adriana Alexander, LC board member. Background requested attached, budgetary consideration not applicable.
Yeah, but like, what do you,
Well, I was requesting
Yeah.
a presentation from HR, and that was, I sent it back in February. I did ask for a list of jobs available also, and I was sent an email that I should look at the website and, basically get it myself. But I was asking and requesting this information because I get phone calls regarding job applications and I know that it has nothing to do with the board, but I just wanted to be able to explain some of the hiring practices for the people that do call me. And that's why I had requested this
I
presentation.
believe we have a presentation, right?
Yes,
Okay.
we do.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Veronica Cardenas, Executive Director of Human Resources.
Will you turn on your mic, please?
It seems to be on.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's on.
She speaks.
Can you hear me? Okay, I'll be a little bit louder. There you go. Okay, so we have an applicant tracking system. I'm going to be doing an overview of our hiring process. There's 4 slides that I'm going to go over. I'm starting off with the job posting process. And it starts off with a vacancy or an open position. That is a request that comes in by the director, the department, the chair, and that's a submittal that comes in through our system. There's an updated job description that we review as well. That request comes in through what we call a requisition, and it goes through the approval process. And you see those boxes in green, those are the different approvals that it goes through, including the dean, AVP, the vice president, HR reviews that information, as well as finance, and then it goes through the president's office. Once all that is approved, then it goes to the job posting. That would be on our website and also other national job boards. If the position is a faculty, that's going to be open until filled. If it's an adjunct faculty, those remain open throughout the year. Then the hiring process goes forward based on enrollment need. And the applicants who apply to these positions, those applications are kept active for 1 year. And if it's a staff position, those we post a minimum of 10 days or more until the pool is sufficient enough with qualified candidates. So once the job is posted on the website, the applicant does get a notification, and again, this is through the applicant tracking system, which we use NeoEd. And if there's a completed application by the applicant, then it moves through the email notification and that process. But I do want to talk about what happens when they don't complete it. There's a feature in the system that sends an automatic email notification to them. It is also in their account, and they will always see what is pending on there. At that point, they do get that automatic email notification. If the applicant takes no action, once the position closes, the recruitment ends. Laredo College does not get a notification of that pending item. That's the way the system is set up. But the automatic emails go out every 2 to 3 days until the position closes. Once the position closes, then there is absolutely no other reminder that goes out. If the application is complete, again, there's an automatic email that goes out of a successful submission. HR reviews the documents on a weekly basis for completion. If there is a completed packet, and the packet includes obviously the employment application, but it also talks about a resume or a transcript, depending on what the job requires. then that is the packet that we consider. If they do not have a completed packet, remember I mentioned that this is done on a weekly basis for a review from HR. HR does send an email notification through the system that the packet is incomplete. The applicant will resubmit their packet while the position is, or the posting is open. And there's an iterative process there that happens. If there's a completed packet, then it gets ready to send to the hiring supervisor and the committee. If they do not submit a completed packet, then the recruitment ends at that point. So once the position does close, HR verifies those completed documents, making sure everything is in there, because sometimes we get, let's say there's a resume that's needed or an unofficial transcript. A lot of the times what happens is they'll send a blank document, and so we need to verify those as well. So this is kind of like a second check. And then the application does get sent to the hiring supervisor and the committee. I do want to make a note here because to serve in a committee or to be able to hire, you have to go through our certification training. That is done by Human Resources, and we certify every 2 years. And if there is someone that that needs committee members, we have a listing that they can choose from as well. And so once the committee is selected, and of course the committee needs to be including different areas. So if it's someone from one area that's going to be working with someone at South Campus or someone in another department, we make sure that we make the recommendation to include them. The committees may vary, anywhere between 3 to 7 committee members. So once a committee is selected, then we prepare a rubric. They prepare a rubric based on the job description, and all of this information gets done in the, or acknowledged and certified in the certification process or the training. We let them know you have to do a rubric. It has to be based on the job description. And most importantly, you have to make sure that you acknowledge the confidentiality to protect the integrity of the process. So then once the rubric is done, then the committee does the screening and they rank the applicants. The hiring supervisor and the committee decide how many candidates to interview based on the ranking points. And so keep in mind, sometimes there's 90 applications, right? So there has to be a cutoff, right? So if they do get selected, if the applicant gets selected for an interview, then they go get through the system what's called an interview and scheduling invite. If they are not going to be selected for an interview, then there's an email notification that the applicant gets through the NeoEd system with the reason for the non-selection. That could be did not meet the minimum qualifications, or a ranking number. Remember, there's points associated as well. So at that point, the recruitment ends. So as far as those that did get the interviews invite, the committee creates those standardized interview questions, and they do the interview and rank the candidates at that point. It starts anew with the ranking system there. So if the applicant is a top candidate, then the recommendation process begins. If they are not the top candidate, then they get an email notification of the non-selection, and the recruitment ends at that point.
I'll wait at the end. It's an interesting one.
I continue? Okay. So once this is the actual hiring process with the recommendation. The hiring supervisor does submit the recommendation. This is already outside the system. We don't have that part of the system or the process in the NeoEd system. So we do handle this through a PDF format. We're trying to get that into an electronic system, but for now, the supervisor does submit the recommendation, and again, it goes through those approval processes. The AVP sees it, the dean sees it, they approve it, and moves on to the VP, and then it goes to Human Resources. At that point, the pre-employment process begins. And then once we do that part, it goes to Finance for approval, the President's Office also for approval. At that point with the President, there will be another interview for faculty and exempt staff only. And then HR, once we get that approval, HR does make the job offer and the onboarding process begins. And that was the 4 slides that I had.
Ms. Alexander, any questions?
Sure.
Is there any questions? Anybody else? Ms. Ramos?
So thank you for the for the report. I do want to make a clarification in open record, because the process of hiring is very tedious, and it does not require or should have undue influence from us as trustees. I too have had phone calls, but my first answer is make sure you call HR. That's what they need to do. The process itself, I felt myself that I could not interfere in a way that I would ask them questions about why they applied, who they applied, where they applied, because the confidentiality, of course, exists between that employee. And so I do appreciate your explanation. I do appreciate that Ms. Alexander has asked for an explanation, but I do also agree, and again, on record, I say we need to make sure that we convey this message to the community, that undue influence is not part of our job as a responsibility. If they come and ask us for it, if somebody asks me for a recommendation, I'm going to be very honest. I say no. And that's my personal preference, because I feel like I don't think my name should be on a recommendation, because it could be twofold. One, it could hurt or it could help the person. And I'm not going to hold back any comments about stuff like that, because that's what I'm honest with the public with. If they ask me about something, if I say there's a position open, apply for it if you're qualified. That's the first thing I tell them. Are you qualified? Did you look at the qualifications? Yes. Okay, then go ahead and apply. Can I put your name down? I appreciate you, I care for you, but please do not put my name on it, because I cannot do anything for you. I can only guide you and direct you and ask you to go and apply and follow the process. I too have had to go through the whole process myself in other organizations. So we need to make sure that we have a clarification and an understanding that, we can't move 2 steps back and have us be influenced to the departments, because the committees are formed because they apply for a certain group, and we have to have faith and trust that you, Ms. Cardenas, are leading the department directly, correctly, and that also the people that you select to be on those committees are going to select the right people. Is it flawless? No, it's not. I mean, no organization exists with a flawless HR department, because there's things that can be improved, correct? But also, I think that we need to trust and have faith that the process exists. And when we have those conversations with the community, with the public, that we respond, accurately and honestly with the individuals and say, you know what, wish you the best of luck. And that's the best that I can do. Because as an individual, I'm only one, but I'm one of 9 individuals that exist on this team. So that's the only reason why I wanted to make those comments, because I feel like this is very precarious, the process of the hiring. And, when we go and apply for different positions, we want it to be confidential. We want it to be discreet, and we also want it to be right. And when we do other undue influences, that kind of sort of disparages the whole process. And so that's just my personal opinion on this. But I really appreciate bringing it to the attention of the board members. It gives me a better outlook. I've been here for several years, and I see, I know the processes already. But thank you for giving us a reminder, a review, and so forth. And I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Any, Ms.
I
Erica
have a
Garcia?
question, really, like maybe even a clarification. Oh. My question is just this. So it's the applicant's duty, really, to look at their emails, because really, we're not gonna give them a call. If they wanna know where they stand, they get an email, right? And do they get if they call somebody to ask, there is somebody to answer, right?
Absolutely. We do have a whole team that answers those phone calls, and we get them daily. And so if there's an issue, for whatever reason, they can't upload a document, we have an entire lab and staff members to help them out with that.
Okay.
Or if they don't understand the system, we are also available.
That's usually what
to
I tell them,
explain.
like, you need to go and look at your emails, because I'm sure, but I just wanted to make sure that is the standard that,
Absolutely. The applicants do have access to their account. Sometimes they don't put in the correct email, or they forget what email they put,
So
and
when
they
they,
don't
so
go
when
check
they
it.
apply, they make an account for
They
themselves?
they do have an account. And,
Okay.
and what happens with this system is that it's national. And so if you apply with us, and there's a section there that says, I'm interested in any job posting, for example, I'm just gonna say in a clerical position or in a particular department. So you click on those items. Because you clicked it here for Laredo College, but because NeoEd is nationwide, if another position somewhere else, in Washington, for example, that position becomes available, they'll get an email as well. So this is one of the reasons why our applications, actually, when we converted to the NeoEd system, we didn't get that many applicants, but now we get a lot of applications because of that same thing. So someone in Washington applies, they're interested in a particular field, and if we open that particular position, they'll get an email that says, in Laredo, Texas, there is this position.
Ms. Cardenas, and when it is closed or you decide, so all those other people that did apply for that position and were not granted, an interview, they do get something that says thank you, but, no, you know what I mean? They do
Absolutely.
get something, just like a thank you letter, I'm sorry that you did or whatever, you did not.
Yes, they
Make the cut or
do.
whatever.
There's several stages that they
Okay.
get an email. First of all, if they didn't complete their application, they get reminders.
Okay, yes, I got
But
that
they
part.
also get an email if they, there's also some questions in there. The
Okay.
questions, for example, do you meet the requirements of the experience or the education? If they click no, it's an automatic email that says that they don't meet the qualifications. But also, when they get reviewed, at the committee level, once they're doing those selections for interview and non-selections, those at that point will also get an email. If they're missing documents, even before it goes to the committee, our office will send them a notice. And if for whatever reason the position gets reposted for business necessity, all the applicants will get an email that says this position will not move forward, and we
That's-
will
yeah,
we
that's
will
what I was
let you
gonna ask
know
you.
in the
Perfect.
future if it becomes available.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Alexander, Ms. Vela, and then Ms. Ramos. Go ahead, Ms. Alexander.
I just wanted to say thank you. I've never been I don't think I've been a reference on a job application, and I don't mean to give the wrong impression. I just get phone calls where they ask, I didn't receive an email. Sometimes I don't know what to say, and that's precisely why you've answered, and informed me of things that I can say to people that call, asking me questions regarding HR.
And they could always call our office. You can send them to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Ms. Vela, no. Ms. Ramos?
I just wanted to also clarify the NeoGov or the NeoEd is part of the NeoGov, which is
It
the
is correct.
county and the city also use it. So you get a response, whether you qualify or not on the text, if you put there that you put the text. But the other one that uses it is the government. So if you answer at the end of the questions, because I've applied for jobs, if you put answer the question, I do not qualify, then automatically you get an email that says you don't qualify. But duh, like you know,
They have to be
right?
with-
Yeah, like you know,
they have to
right?
keep up that-
So
yeah, that's the way
if
they
you
tell
know that you don't qualify,
Right.
well then why are you putting in that application? So if you say yes, I do have the experience, then it automatically goes in, and then they let you know. If you don't get an interview, sometimes they just send you a note that says, we've already selected somebody, but we didn't even interview. Oh, that means that the cutoff was not part of that individual, amount of people, like you were mentioning, that you have to cut it off at a certain time.
Correct.
So the program itself versus what we used to have, where it was standalone, then that was a little bit more, there was a lot more influence to it because it wasn't, you couldn't provide the backtracking for them or find out what they're missing. And many times people don't turn in stuff that they're supposed to turn in. And then they're wondering, why don't they call them? Well, because you didn't turn it in. But I have found that all HR people in Laredo are very welcoming, and I call them up and say, hey, why haven't I gotten an answer or whatever? And they're more than helpful. I haven't applied here because I can't apply here, but the places that I've applied with through the NeoGov, they're very good. And it exists in San Antonio, in everywhere, anything that's city, county, and educational institution. So, again, thank you.
Any other questions? No. The only comment that I'll say, I'm very familiar with the process of the HR hiring. I deal with it. Pretty much that's what I do at LISD. But the only thing that got my attention, I talked to Dr. Ramirez, what is that certification so you could be able to be an interview? Because and the reason I'm saying that is because I would want to see how it works to take it to my institution because it's very interesting. Can you explain that?
So that is built by our office.
Okay.
And so
I've never heard of that. That's why.
So we have a training and we certify them ourselves. So it's a program that we created ourselves through the knowledge and the expertise, through my certifications as a professional in human resources, through SHRM and through the HRCI, which are national and global recognized institutions.
That's really cool. I'm gonna suggest to Ms. Rogerio to see if maybe she could meet with you because I think that's a very good practice. I like it. So I know. Yeah, Dr. Ramirez.
Yes, sir. Thank you all for your feedback and certainly for the opportunity to share with you all the processes that we do follow. I do think that our HR department is welcoming of ideas. I have to say that our vice president's roundtables are always full of ideas about how to make our process better. And one of the biggest, I think, strengths of using the NeoEd platform is the autonomy that it gives the hiring department. We as administrators cannot hold our subordinates responsible and accountable for their employees if we're the ones telling them who to hire. They have to have that autonomy to interview, to select, and recommend people whom they find are going to meet the needs of that individual department. Then it is our job as administrators to hold them accountable for the people they hire. If I'm going to be responsive as an administrator to my subordinates, I'm going to say, well, you hired them. If they're not doing their job, then you should be putting them on an improvement plan, then helping them get the training they need. And if they're not going to do their job, then you need to write them up. At which point, then we need to have a more serious conversation. But that process at the beginning is left to the department for that very reason. The training that people get to be on the committees to select people we hire is incredibly important because there are certain questions that they cannot be asking that could get us into huge liable problems. And therefore, that training now exists. It didn't always exist. This isn't, and I can honestly say that our board has been extremely positive about this and in not asking, but no hay dedazo, as they used to say. There are no special favors. We hold people accountable for their roles and responsibilities, and I'm very proud to say that our department leaders, our administrators, and our hirees have really held themselves to the line. And so I want to thank everybody for following the process as recommended. And it is reviewed by our legal team as well. And so thank you for bringing it up and giving us an opportunity to showcase the work that we've been doing. So thank you, Ms. Cardenas.
Thank you, Ms. Cardenas, and thank you, Dr. Ramirez. We're moving on to item number 7C, Student Success Report, Dr. David Ariasola.
Jessica.
You're back. Yeah, I know. First of all, congratulations and welcome back, Ms. Trevino. Pero, okay, so now it's on to you again.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Jessica Trevino, Associate Vice President of Enrollment Management, and I will be presenting the Student Success Enrollment Update for tonight. Perfect. So the presentation is very similar to the one you saw in February with updated numbers here. I am very happy to share that we broke the 700 in the 11,000s. So we are at 11,701 students enrolled as of today, 4 o'clock. We have yet to begin the last 4 weeks of the semester. We have already began the second 8 weeks of the semester. The census and reporting date for the second 8 weeks of the semester has already passed. So rosters are being reviewed to make sure that students are where they're supposed to be in terms of their enrollment and the reporting that needs to be done to the state on that. So fingers crossed we can keep the 11,700. And we should be hopefully having a record-breaking semester once again.
Very cool.
With that being said, this actually shows us now at a 6.2 increase from the February presentation. We were at a 5.5 increase, so we did move up a little bit, 124 students to be exact from the February board presentation to the March date, which is as of today. On the reminders, I do actually want to make an announcement that registration for the Maymester and the summer of 2026 opens next week on March 30th. And this time around, we are splitting registration opening. We will exclusively have Maymester and summer open for 1 week so that students can get those courses settled and registered. And then on April 7th, when we return from the Easter break on Tuesday, we will be opening the fall 2026 registration for the semester that starts in August. So your enrollment comparisons moving forward will be a little different in terms of the day-to-day comparisons for this purposes. Any questions up to?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Perfect.
Good job.
Thank you. For continuing education, we did already close quarter 2, which is the December, January, and February with 406 students. Right now, we are underway with quarter 3, which is March, April, and May. We are at 258 students registered for courses, and the June and July and August, which is quarter 4 registration, will open as soon as that period comes to play.
May I say something?
Yes, Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
I do want to point out that in continuing ed, we lost $2.2 million in grants this year from the federal government for continuing ed.
Yeah.
So I just don't want us to forget that those grants were removed by the federal administration.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Moving forward with commencement, we do have a date set for our commencement ceremonies for the spring 2026 semester. They will be hosted at the Sames Auto Arena on Friday, May the 8th. Times are pending just yet. We have a couple of more applicants to review because we are at a record-breaking number for students who are wanting to attend the graduation ceremony with 1,393 who have said they want to come. And I do want to clarify, these are just students who indicated their participation in the ceremony. For the next presentation, I'll bring you both numbers, those that are in line to graduate versus the ones participating. So again, great efforts by everyone in getting our students to complete their courses and get to that finish line at Laredo College. Any questions for this part?
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you for,
Thank you.
welcome back.
Good job. Welcome back. Next one, 7D, Laredo College Fun Fest update, Dr. Yasola and Mr. Rivera.
Greetings, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Thank you so much for the opportunity to highlight the success of our Fun Fest 2026. One of the first things that I would like to share with you is more than anything just highlighting the significance and trying to capture the essence of what Fun Fest ultimately stands for our institution and for our community. Fun Fest has been a WBCA and a Laredo tradition since 1988. That was actually one of the points of conversation we had during one of our leadership meetings, and I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you. So it's almost 40 years of Fun Fest, and because of the time span that it's been here, part of our community, I just think that captures how important it is for us to continue with this type of programming. Um, Ultimately, this event establishes our institution's presence in the community. Um, Families come to expect to come to this event on a yearly basis, and that's a great thing that's going on for us here at the college. I think because of that same reason, because people look forward to it, FunFest actually is helping build a college-going culture and mindset in many families in our city, which is proven, by different surveys that go on at a national level and other institutions. And so these town and gown relationships are very important for our institution and our place in our community. Aside from that, we also have an opportunity to showcase multiple LC departments and student organizations. We're able to show people what it is that we offer at our institution in a fun and engaging manner. Once again, this is an open invitation to our campus and to our institution. And so people that have never set foot on campus can basically come, join us, get familiar with our campus, and understand basically our facilities and the things that we offer. And last but not least, this is not the most tangible benefit from the actual event, but arguably, in my opinion, the most important. It genuinely offers many of our student organizations and their leaders with developmental opportunities. And what do I mean with this? For many of our students, it's the first time that they're charging, 1,000 people and that they're selling Frito pies or tostilotes or hot dogs. It helps them plan for the event. It helps them count money. It helps them, have an idea of how to set up shifts and different things of that nature. The planning surrounding participation at this event is a great developmental opportunity for our students that I wanted to make sure that I shared with you and that I captured as we move forward and we think about FunFest, FallFest, and events of this similar nature. Overall, we had 12 student organizations fundraising, which is very consistent. Last year, we also had 12. The year prior, I think we had 13, but we no longer have the academic program that was part of that specific student organization. So we've remained consistent. That's always a good sign of the engagement that we're having on campus. We did have 38 LC departments hosting free activities throughout the actual campus grounds. This is also very impressive considering the fact that we had a job fair going on at the same time and that we had our enrollment management team hosting a Super Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the term. We're basically trying to enroll as many people as possible for classes. And so this is definitely something that I wanted to highlight. It's very important for us moving forward. We did have 5 third-party agencies. This is one of the major changes that we have seen in FunFest. Before, we had many third parties. We had many third parties that would pay to be on campus or that were here to try to share information or promote any of the service that they had. We decided to shift from that to make sure that our student organizations had the greatest opportunity for success, and I'll prove that has worked thus far. These third-party agencies include our City of Laredo EMS, AEP, different partners that played a significant role in making this event a success. If you were there, you can definitely recall that we had multiple inflatables, multiple carnival rides. We kind of redid the event layout once again, a petting zoo, and multiple performances from elementary schools, middle schools, and other partners that we have at a local level. I want to make sure that we highlight as well that we have an ongoing partnership with the AP Texas Foundation, and they have graciously agreed to give us $50,000 in support for the 2026 and 2027 FunFest. And so this partnership will continue for one more year, and it is vital in the success of the program. If you were at the event, you may have noticed that right in the center of FunFest grounds, we actually had 2 huge bucket trucks. Those are great examples for our kids and the younger members of the families to basically see what AEP does on a daily basis and the scope of their job. We also had their electricity display, which is a very important display that teaches you the benefits and the dangers of electricity whenever it comes to the job that they do in our communities. And last but not least, this type of sponsorship makes FunFest, and it automatically transforms FunFest into a genuine fundraiser for our student organizations. It basically allows us to mitigate cost, and in essence, whatever money we make goes to our student organizations and to the departments that are fundraising. And so this is essential in the success and in the numbers that I'm about to present to you. Once again, thank you to AP Texas Foundation and for our development team for getting this up and running and for continuing the partnership once again. This is actually the most important part and what I'm most prideful in terms of presenting to you. This year, we sold $27,785 on the day of the event, but we decided to do things a little bit differently, trying to be proactive, and we actually conducted a $1,500 pre-sale of tickets, bringing our grand total profit or fundraised for the event to $29,285. That is very close to the $30,000 mark that I have been personally and professionally shooting for. We're right there, and so this is incredible news. The funds that our student organizations and departments raise on those days support basically all the student engagement that we have on and off campus. It supports travel, exams such as the NCLEX, uniforms, things of that nature. And so every dollar that is collected on this day serves an ultimate mission of supporting student engagement and development on campus. I did want to make sure that we shared a couple of numbers from years past. Back in 2025, we actually made $26,500. This was the first year that we decided to go completely cashless. For those of you who have been around or may not recall, FunFest allowed for our vendors to basically charge at their booth cash. We decided to go away from that in order to go for tickets, which ultimately proves to be a little bit more efficient and ultimately safer, right? An actual ticket doesn't have a dollar amount, dollars do. And so it's safer for our students. We decided to be proactive in that manner. Another thing that we made in 2025 that we carried over this year is the fact that we had no third parties. And so for it to make sense, we're going to have to look at those 2024 numbers. The overall event generated $25,000 in revenue. However, unfortunately, because we had third-party food vendors participating on campus, we actually had a substantial majority of that not stay on campus. And so that's the main reason why we decided to do against those third-party food vendors. And we actually transitioned from what we had before in terms of having a smaller FunFest in one corner of campus to an info fair style event that showcased basically an open invitation to our campus. I wanted to make sure that I shared those numbers with you so that you could see kind of the growth of the event and some of the things that we're expecting for years to come. There are a couple of changes that we are softly proposing, but those changes will ultimately be decided on and determined by feedback that we get from a survey. One of the main things that I would like to propose and start floating the idea on is potentially moving FunFest to a little bit later during the day. And for one main reason, the sun. We live in Laredo. It's very difficult for our student organizations to be here, 3 hours prior to the event start, 2 hours after the event. It's very hot for them. And ultimately, one thing that we discovered is people tend to stick around towards later, because of the sun and they're enjoying the performances. It is highly likely that we'll start going later when it comes to the FunFest. I just want to make sure that I shared that with you. There is competition involved. There obviously are more events that are going on throughout the city, but the numbers show our event, it stands and it can definitely compete with some other long-standing traditions in the city, and we'll see what FunFest has in store for us in 2027. But that's a brief recap of the success of FunFest 2026. I'm not too sure if there's any questions or anything else that I can possibly help with.
I just want to go ahead and congratulate you too, Rivera. I think you and your team do a great job. I want to also thank officially in public AP, Mr. Treviño, Danny, for the donations and being part of this great event. But any comments from the colleagues? Ms. Vela?
Yes, I'd like to congratulate you because you've done an incredible job. Yes. And I'm very proud of you.
That is a huge team effort. Ultimately, I always say this, my job is arguably the easiest one. I just kind of have to email and get everybody together. The departments are the ones that show up and are there the entire day. Campus police, physical plant, the preparation for the event, it takes much more time than we may consider and expect. And so once again, I have the opportunity to thank you to everybody that participated and helped us out. The success is all theirs.
No, thank you so much. And I know it's going to be up to you and your team and administration, but I think it might be a good idea of that on moving it a little bit. Because, yeah, you are right. It's pretty hot. But yeah, good job. Thank you. Ms. B? Ms. Garcia?
Yes, also I wanted to tell you because I was a board member of the WBCA and I was on a team that did the Fun Fest. But I've seen how much it's grown. And what I really like is that your vision or the vision of your team or Dr. Ramirez or whomever to include like the job fair, other things that really the college did not do at the time, It was just a fun fest. I mean, just for kids, it was just basically rides and food or whatever. But now that the college is doing that, I mean, it's perfect because you already have the parents here, you have the kids here, you're exposing them, you're letting them know what's available. open their eyes and their minds to something new. So I commend you all for your vision.
Absolutely.
I really do.
One thing that I want to make sure that we emphasize is the programming, the events. Yes, they're fun. The things that we do is they're fun. There's no way around that. But everything that we do is intentional. Everything that we do has an ultimate goal and an objective in mind. And in the case of the Fun Fest, yes, it's definitely to bring the community in, but it's also to help our student organizations make some money, enroll students, get the word out there about the different programs that we offer. And I think we're succeeding at doing that. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Moving on, 7E, report on the Texas Presidents and Trustee Collaboration Meeting. To report on the Enrollment and Advising Task Force. I was told by Dr. Ramirez that they have not been able to meet, so we're gonna go ahead and wait for the update for whenever he meets with the other agencies, so then that way we could get a better report from both sides. Oh, you're gonna, okay, go ahead.
I'm here to report on something that we have undertaken as a team. In my time that I've been working with the student success team, mostly here on my left, we've had a lot of conversations. We've heard a lot of concerns from the board. We've heard concerns from the colleagues, from students, and we knew that we needed to do something, right? So over the last, I want to say 3 months, we've been planning and we've been working on what we're going to do or how we're going to attack the problem. I'd like to thank these two gentlemen here on my left, Mr. Dimas and Mr. Reyes, have been instrumental in helping me plan, especially while Mr. Trevino's been out on maternity leave. They've been my crutches through. Yeah. But so when we first started working on this, our plan was simple. We were going to start meeting, right? One of the things that we know that we need to do, we need to kind of bring everybody together, everybody involved in the enrollment life cycle in one room, and let's start talking to each other. Let's start working together, looking at each other's processes, and so on. So we wanted to focus on the enrollment funnel, right? So we've heard Dr. Ramirez talk about that, and then I'll show you a visual here in a little bit. But that was sort of our guide. So we wanted to do everything based on what the enrollment funnel looked like. So we started, and we had our first meeting, and we had everybody in the room. We invited recruitment and dual enrollment. We invited admissions, financial aid, advising, the registrar, retention services. We included somebody from academics in our team. And our first meeting was probably the more fun one, because that's when we kind of just, okay, put all your cards on the table. This is what we're going to do. And then we started, right? So what we did is in this order. So this is the enrollment funnel. So in this order, we started every director. They all came in and said, this is what we do in our department, right? So starting with recruitment and all the events that they attend and everything that they do to try to recruit students to come to the college. And then we went with admissions and how admissions works and how what are all the things that we have to do there and students have to take care of there. Then we talked to financial aid and had him do a presentation about their processes and how they are connected or disconnected from some of the other processes that we have. And we had advising do a presentation on all of the things that they do. And we're right that we're not there yet, but we're right at registration and enrollment next, right? So during these meetings and these presentations, there were open discussions, right? So yes, there was a presentation, and yes, there was a guide from each director, but there was always time to ask questions. There was always time to provide constructive feedback. There was always time to say, well, we do that in our department a little bit different, or you do this, maybe we should be doing that. A lot of a lot of conversation about some of the things they do together, some of the things that they don't do, and so on and so forth. Right? So we know this much. We know that we're losing students at transition point. That's why it's a funnel, right? If that wasn't happening, then it would be a square all the way around, right? Because we'd have the same number here, 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 here. But, if we recruit, probably about 20,000 students that we reach out to, but not all of them apply. And some of them apply, and maybe not all of them finish that process, or not all of them are admitted, not all of them get financial aid, not all of them go to advising, and so on and so forth, right? We know that our problem is not access, right? So we know that Laredo College is an open enrollment institution. We'll let, you want to come in? Come in. The doors are open for you, right? We have things like the meal plan. We have things like the Palomino Pledge. We have resources for students that were never available at any other time of this institution. So access is not the issue, right? Completion. We heard Ms. Trevino give her presentation. We have a record number of graduates, but we want to have more, right? Because if we can widen that piece of the funnel, the graduation part, that's our goal, right? We want that to be as wide as any of the other parts as well. And we also know that we need to coordinate better amongst all the departments that are involved in enrollment. So just kind of a few little key insights, and I'll tell you that my approach when I'm sitting in the room listening to the director speak, some of my point of view is still somewhat like an outsider looking in, right? Because I'm still fairly new to the division, less than a year. Still learning some of the things that everybody does. So I have a good vantage point where sometimes I can ask some of the harder questions and just pretend like I didn't know, But so I know that's going to wear out pretty soon, but it still works as of today. And so when I saw recruitment come on and do their presentation, we have a very strong recruitment team. They're all over the place. They're at every high school, they're at every event, they're everywhere. But there are some things that they can do. Start the pre-screening process, right? Start improving some of the early stage communication. So we do the outreach. We talk to them at the events. It's a matter of let's continue that conversation with those students until they come in, right? Then when we had admissions, same thing. They do a great job. Students apply, but there's a lot of little speed bumps there, right? Well, they have to turn in their transcripts, and they have to verify residency, and a lot of little things here and there that we could do better. We could do better. Students could do better. Everybody could do better there, right? Then we talk to financial aid. Financial aid, they do their presentation, and same thing. We know that they're there to service the students, but there are a lot of things there in financial aid. Financial aid is one of the trickiest things because we have our internal processes, and then we have a process that we have to abide by from the federal government. So it's kind of juggling all those things that sometimes, we can do better in doing that. And as we're going through these presentations, as a group, we're identifying, hey, let's try this, or let's do some of these things. Maybe we can help each other get better here or there. So some of the things that have come up, and pre-screening has been a big one, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. A student enrollment dashboard is another big one. So having a place where students can say, let me log in. I know I talked to some people there at the college, but where am I in the process? What do I need to do? So having an enrollment dashboard where a student can log in, it's like, okay, I remember I went to advising. Oh, I forgot to go to the registration, or I still need this to do this at financial. So having a status bar or a status for students where they can log in and see where they are in the process and who they need to talk to get to the next step. That's one of the one of the things that we're really looking for in coming out of this. Then we talk to advising. Advising, I use the a fishing analogy. I do a lot of analogies, but I use a fishing analogy here, where advising is where we're really hooked, right? So, recruitment. If you want to say it's a lake, admissions, you can throw the reel in the water. The financial aid, that's the money, so that's the bait, right? But when they come in for advising, that's where we can really hook them and make them stay here. And we know how important and how critical that conversation with a student is. So one of the things that we've talked about ever since the beginning, and this is something that Dr. Ramirez has said as well. When a student gets through advising, we want them to leave there and know what their academic plan is, what their financial plan is, what their career plan is. In other words, what classes they need, how are they going to pay for them, what are they going to do after they graduate, right? So we want them to have that from the beginning, and that way they have a roadmap to get to the completion, which is, again, the part of the funnel that we're trying to widen, right? So, as we're going through the process, we were already kind of addressing some of these things. We're already getting ideas for an enrollment dashboard. We're getting trying to get finalized or kind of figure out, okay, what is the academic plan going to look like? What is the financial plan going to look like? And so on and so forth. One of the things that we come back to over and over again is a pre-screening process, right? So when we talk about a pre-screening process in enrollment, we're looking at very similar to going to the doctor. Right? 10, 15 years ago, when you would go to a doctor's visit, you would sit in the waiting room for an hour and a half, and you'd go in there and you talk to a nurse, they'd ask you a whole bunch of questions, check, 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 check. And then the doctor would come in, he would ask you the same questions, check, 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 check. And then finally, after 3 hours, you'd finally get to hear something about your health, right? Now, you go to a clinic, and all that stuff happens in the waiting area. Right? So you sign in on the computer, they send you a text message, here are the forms, fill them out, you answer the questions that they used to ask you 3 times before, 15 years ago. You answer them on your phone, or tablet, computer. Sometimes you can even do it via voice, and so on and so forth. So, and then what that does is when you get to the doctor, he already has all of the information he needs. He can stick to talking to you about what's wrong, right? So that's where we want to get to. That's one of the big things that we want to do in this task force, is find a good pre-screening process that we can use across the funnel, if you will, and that can, and I don't want to say we're trying to cut down on the time with advising or with any particular office, because it's not about shortening the time. It's about a quality-focused visit, right? So going to advising and having a quality visit with an advisor, going to financial aid and having a quality visit with a financial aid coordinator, because you've already answered the hundreds of questions that they would have had before. So it's not about churning them out. It's about really increasing the quality of the time that you spend with the folks in enrollment, so that you can have a better idea and be more comfortable with what you're going to do while you're here at Laredo College. We have a lot more ideas. We know that at some point, and we've talked about this from the beginning, we want to be more data focused, so we can talk about some of these things. We know that, have an idea of some of the things that are happening, but getting a better idea data-wise to have some evidence of how we are getting better, right? Again, we want to tighten the bond between the departments so that they're not, 8 or 9 different departments in the enrollment. They're, one enrollment division, right? And well, we're looking at bringing in something called the CRM. That's a customer resource, relations manager. The things that this is a technology, right? The things that these CRMs can do is amazing, and especially now with AI on board, it is something beyond belief. And then that is going to be part of what we do with this task force. At last, it just kind of says the same thing. But the last thing, I just want to thank everybody who is on the task force. Again, we are a cross-functional group, financial aid, admissions, advising. We have an academic affairs representative in Ms. Ana Proa, recruitment and dual, retention services. We have the registrar, and Ms. Trevino, who's her first meeting was today. So we kind of flooded her with all the things that we've been doing since she's been gone. But any questions?
Any question? Chair recognizes Ms. Ramos.
I just want to say that being a student, and I haven't been one in a while, but it's about validation. It's about wanting to know that when I come to the university or to the institution that I'm going to be recognized. And I think many times nowadays, not here in particular, but in other universities and colleges, they just see you as a number. And I want to know that as a student, one, I'm valued, I'm going to be validated, and I'm going to be guided, because even at my age, if I want to go back to school, it's really hard for people to communicate because there's a lot of online programs, and even in the online programs, they don't recognize you as a student that you can benefit the institution itself. So I think you're in the right course of action. I would also suggest that maybe we look to other places that have maybe been successful and have, with Elucian. And what have they seen in other institutions that has maybe worked for them, right? I think we're doing really good if we compare ourselves to where we were and where we're going, where we are and where we're going. I think we've done a lot of good work. Kids are coming. Kids want to come. The other item that I wanted to mention is, I know, and maybe you can clarify this for me or just agree, whether at the high school as a senior, you are asked to fill out your financial aid packet, right? What happens if the student chooses not to fill out the financial aid packet? Because it is a rule, right, that you have to complete it?
Right.
Okay, so what happens if they choose not to? Like,
Well, they can still apply as far as
Later
coming
on.
to college. They can still apply. It does, I don't want to say close some doors for them, but there's some opportunities that they can open up for themselves if they do the application, even if they don't qualify for financial aid.
right.
So they are encouraged to do so, and when they come in here to talk to us, we certainly encourage them and help them complete the application.
And then the final thing is maybe getting to find out how much is the traffic that comes in that you can equate to the number of people that, like, in other words, the number of people that you service, are they actually transcending into the students? Because if you talked about 15,000, like you reach out to the masses, right? How much of that is the ROI? How much is the return on investment that we're doing? Because if it's not really feasible, then maybe there's another course of action that could be taken.
Right, and that's one of the things that we know we need to do better is the data tracking, tracking them from recruitment to application to enrollment. Once they're in our system, it's easier to do so. It's really that top layer that sometimes, not as easy to track.
I appreciate it.
Any other questions, comments? No? Dr. Estrella, great job, and your team as well. Good job, guys. Thank you. 7F, Foreign Trade Zone request, Dr. Ramirez.
Thank you, Mr. Rangel. This is to inform you that we have received 3 letters of concurrence supporting requests for minor boundary modifications within the Foreign Trade Zone number 94. We issued letters to CTL Forwarding LC, located at 14407 Import Road, ITC Park, here in Laredo, Texas. Insurance Warehouse and Logistics, Inc., located at 417 Grand Central Boulevard, Milo Industrial Park. And PG Distribution, LLC, located at 8417, 8421 Amparan Road, here in Laredo as well.
Any questions, comments? No? Thank you. 7G, notification of employee compensation during Fort McIntosh campus closure due to the street closure for the Washington Birthday Celebration Association Youth Parade as per Laredo College Board Policy DEA Local Compensation and Benefits Compensation Plan. Dr. Ramirez.
Yes, sir, thank you. This is also an information item only. As per Laredo College Policy, DEA Local, the board authorized approval to the college president or designee with board notification to pay employees during an emergency closure for which the workdays are not scheduled to be made up at a later date. The date of the closure was for the Fort McIntosh employees on February the 19th, 2026, for 3 hours to avoid the heavy traffic and congestion due to the WBCA youth parade routes and street closures. The street closures began at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and therefore we allowed employees to leave early. And so we will pay our employees for that afternoon to make sure that, but we needed to make sure everybody was safe downtown and assure that, especially in the evening when the parade was ending, the congestion was incredible. So just information.
Any questions? No? Thank you. 7H, update on Bachelor's of Applied Technology and Data Analytics, Dr. Tijerina.
Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. Good evening, board members, Rusty, Dr. Ramirez, and all our colleagues here. I want to, before we begin, I want to bring up the team because I'm very excited to say that we did receive our final notice of approval through our SAC-COC accreditation agency that our third bachelor's degree has officially been approved. But before we clap, let me first introduce Director of the Computer Science and Technology, Mr. Tecuani Perez.
Congratulations.
The faculty that I saw, Ignacio Silva, Gerardo Martinez, and Emmanuel Villanueva. Our cybersecurity coordinator, Raimundo Hernandez. Because we requested in the bachelor's degree an intervention retention specialist that will help with the cohort. So this is a new position that was added, Ms. Angelica Cabral, our intervention specialist. I hope I didn't miss. Okay. So if Mr. Tecuani Perez can come with me, we have a presentation to further elaborate what we're going to call it the BAT, not the BAT in data analytics. And I'm going to defer all this to the experts so that way if you have any questions, but it is very exciting that our third bachelor's degree has been officially approved by all entities.
Great. For the record, Tecuani Perez, hello everyone, board members and president. So this was an experience, right, getting all this stuff done, so we'll go through it. So this is our presentation on it. So the program overview, so we're looking to expand the educational opportunities here, specifically in data skills for students and in Laredo as well as the community members. The goal is to provide a bachelor's pathway for students in our program, computer science. So it mainly targets the students in those areas, right? Those skills are needed for kind of that area of expertise. So we're emphasizing applied data analysis as well as data visualization, as well as how to make marketing decisions based upon that data. And so we're preparing the graduates to interpret and then use this data across multiple industries, right? So students from this program can enter into multiple fields, not just computer science. It could be import, export, education, any of those. So they can use the data they find from those businesses to help with those companies or organizations make stronger decisions on where they're going. And then there is a growing demand for data professionals. We did do a lot of research before we kind of proposed it. I went back and forth with the team on kind of what we were going to pick. We had several options, and we decided that this one is probably one of the best fields to go into. So there is a growing demand for it. There's between 2024 and 2034, there's supposed to be a 34% growth in demand for data specialists. So it's much faster than the average occupation growth. And so the median annual salary for these individuals in the United States will be roughly about $112,590 in the US. That's the projected. The average salary commonly ranges, right, normally between $71,000 to $119,000, depending on the experience, right? So it is a very good job, right, very lucrative. The areas that they can work in are obviously healthcare, finance, logistics, supply chain, import, export, right, which would be very useful for Laredo, as well as government and technology areas. So a very, very in-demand area. So we were looking through the student, kind of trying to figure out how they would come through this process. So it was an interesting experience going through that and trying to plot out how they would go, right? Because there are kind of a lot of moving parts and a lot of different degrees. So obviously the first process is that we need them to complete an Associate of Applied Science. So they can obviously take any other coursework, their core, or anything that's required for that. And then they get their Associate Applied Science in one of the computer fields, which will give them the foundational skills that they then need to develop further. At that point, they would then change their major to the BAT in data analytics. And then they would complete they would go through the upper division application. So they would apply, we'd review them, and then we'd make sure that we accept students that meet the demands for the course. So we're requiring that they have a 2.5 GPA, as well as complete any upper level division courses for that, to prepare them for that. So there's a series of programming skills, as well as some statistics and mathematical courses that we're asking them to complete, which should assist them in the program. And then they're going to go through an orientation in our department, where we're going to kind of walk them through everything, and we really want to welcome into the program, give them a lot of guidance with Ms. Cabral. We've been meeting a lot with the students, right? And we're building a very good relationship with them. So we have a lot of plans to meet with them regularly, weekly, to check on their progress. And so if they're struggling at any point, we can help them out very quickly. And then after that orientation, then they would transition into the courses, and that would take a fall and a spring and a summer. So we're looking for them to take roughly about a year to complete. And then after that, they would graduate. And so the first cohort we're starting in the fall, and so they should be graduating in the summer. We're looking to double up in the summer, so we're looking to start our second cohort in the summer, and so they should graduate in the spring next year. Moving on. So implementation, right, the degree plan has been finalized. Course development, we're finalizing all the last bits for that. So we started as soon as it kind of got sent out, and we started working ahead. So we're finishing up the final touches on a few of the later courses. We're coordinating with registrars as well as the inviting center to make sure that everything we need to kind of move through that process is set up, to make sure the courses are in the system so that we can build them. And then we're also identifying any potential students for the first cohort, as there are some prerequisites for that. And then, so the cohort that we're looking at right now currently, without really, we were very kind of timid at first because we were still waiting on approval before going out and go looking for students. But without fully announcing it and everything, we have roughly about 22 students that are currently in the pipeline to potentially begin in the fall. So we were pretty impressed with the interest in the program without doing any kind of marketing advertisement yet, because we didn't want to go too crazy, since we still didn't know if we were going to get anything back. So we're looking for that, and we believe that there will be interest, and so the growth of the program should increase from there. And then the student support. So we do understand that obviously this is a big step for the students, so we want to make sure we're supporting them all the way along the way. So we've developed a kind of model where we have a tiered system. The first one, tier one, we're just going to monitor the students, right? We're working with our faculty, and so every week we're going to kind of go into their courses, see how they're doing, and take a look with that. We're going to be in close communication with their instructors. And if any of the students are kind of struggling, they'll move on to tier two. So they'll kind of be moved into tier two, where we now know that they need some support. Perhaps they've encountered something in their life, or they're kind of struggling with the course or anything like that. And then we'll get them the help that they need to be able to succeed in the program. If that's still not working, then we'll move them into tier three, where we'll kind of work a little more closely with them. We'll kind of pull into other areas so they can get some better support, or we'll kind of see what other things we can do with that. And of course, that's Ms. Cabral's area of expertise. So she's working with a lot of them, and she has all their contact information and emails them quite regularly already at this point. So it's a good model that we're looking at, and we'll obviously make any improvements as we need to with it. And then for recruitment plans, we do have information sessions coming up to look for students, as it's now been approved and we got everything put together. And then so we will also have a showcase for all the other programs, as those need to be the first step for a lot of the students in order to enter into the pipeline. We have been going to the high schools and doing outreach and doing recruitment there. We are also working with marketing for social media promotion, and we're going to start a marketing blitz hopefully sometime soon. So we're coordinating with them. We do have a meeting coming up with them, I believe, next week to kind of coordinate a lot of that stuff. And then we're looking to have a bridging event for the prospective students at the beginning of the semester. So right before we bridge, we'll right before the semester starts, we'll have a bridging event, run through all the orientation, kind of show them all the ropes and kind of meet with them. And then for retention strategies, so we were kind of trying to figure out how to work with students to keep them right if they start struggling, which seems to be a common issue in a lot of areas. So one of the things that we are starting is we are looking to have a student survey from our students internally to kind of get feedback on the courses, if they had any issues or problems with certain things, so that we can get that back quickly, and then we can understand what we need to change. We're obviously going to incorporate exit surveys as well. So students that finish the program or complete our courses will let us know what they liked or didn't like. The college also has those as well, so we'll be looking at those in addition. And then, of course, we're going to be obviously looking at our curriculum, improving it as technology changes, because in technology, right, that happens regularly. The technology becomes outdated very quickly, and so we'll have to constantly be looking at that and making changes there. And then we'll be monitoring the students as we've gone through with the intervention programs, and then making sure that we're being successful, right? We want to make sure that all the students come into the program, hopefully we're looking to have a 100% graduation rate. That's our goal, but so we'll be keeping an eye on that. And for employment opportunities for the program itself, we are hiring. We're actively in the process of hiring faculty members and adjuncts for that. We currently have a position open for a data analytics instructor. I believe we're looking to start that process to go through the hiring process for them relatively soon. We just finished up the computer science, or we're in the process of the computer science technology adjunct instructor hiring process. We have hired we completed the process for hiring a data analytics adjunct instructor, so that process is finishing up, and hopefully they'll be approved relatively soon. And then we also have some positions currently open for computer science technology instructors, as well as cybersecurity adjuncts and CAD adjuncts. So the adjunct pools are always open, so we're always hoping that we can find new individuals that would love to teach, right? And we'd love to have them. And then we'll keep working on those and keep going through the hiring process. Our hope is by the summer that we've filled most of those positions, as we do need them. But that's what we're currently working through. And for references, when we went looking for all the data, this is the links to the references. Right, we always want to make sure our research is backed up by good sources, so it's there. And then that's it. Thank you. I don't know, are there any questions?
Any questions? No?
No? Okay.
Mr. Perez, Dr. Tejeda, congratulations. Great job.
Yeah.
Very, very great job.
I would be remiss if I did not recognize the compliance team, Dr. Arazola, Dr. Veronica Martinez, Dr. Heriberto Hernandez on my team, Ana Proa. It truly is a big effort, because I can't even tell you how many pages are in these packets, but everybody took time to develop this. So it's truly a team effort. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tejeda. Item 8, consent agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda, item 8A, 8B, 8C, and 8D.
There's a motion by Ms. Liendo.
I will second it.
There's a second by Ms. Vela. All in favor? Anybody against? No, motion passes. Thank you. Item 9, discussion and possible action. 9A, approval resolution requesting that the Laredo College Board of Trustees approve the submission of a grant application by the Laredo College Grant Office for an amount of $78,152 for the 26-28 Operation Stone Garden Grant Program to the State of Texas, Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, Mr. Lozano. Yes, sir.
Yes, I just wanted to answer a question that you had at the committee meeting. Of the 78,000, 62,892 is for overtime and fringe benefits, 9,260 is for equipment, and 6,000 is for fuel.
Got it. Thank you so much, Mr. Lozano. Thank you for answering that question. Before we make a motion, I'd like to call Ms. Liendo to read the resolution, please.
Thank you, Mr. Rangel. Whereas Laredo College finds it in the best interest of the citizens of Laredo and South Texas that the Laredo College Police Department participate in FY 2026-2028 Operation Stone Garden Grant Project. And whereas the Laredo College Board of Trustees approves the submission of a grant application by the Laredo College Grants Office in the amount of $78,152 to the State of Texas Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office for the 2026-2028 Operation Stone Garden Grant under the following funding programs. FY 2026-2028 Operation Stone Garden Grant Program, State of Texas E-Grants Application Number 5044902. Whereas Laredo College agrees to provide applicable matching funds when required for the said project, but no matching funds are required for this grant application as noted by the program guidelines. Whereas Laredo College agrees that in the event of loss or misuse of the State of Texas Office of the Governor funds, Laredo College assures that the funds will be returned to the Office of the Governor in full. Whereas Laredo College designates Dr. Minita Ramirez, President, as the grantee's authorized official. The authorized official is given the power to apply for, accept, reject, alter, or terminate the grants on behalf of the applicant agency. Whereas Laredo College designates Mr. Cesar Vela, Vice President of Finance and Administration, as the grantee's financial officer. The financial officer is given the power to submit financial and/or programmatic reports or alter a grant on behalf of the applicant agency. Now therefore be it resolved that the Laredo College Board of Trustees approves the submission of a grant application for a total of $78,152 in grant funding by the Laredo College Grants Office for the 2026-2028 Operation Stone Garden Project to the State of Texas Office of the Governor, Public Safety Office, duly resolved by the Board of Trustees of Laredo College on the 26th day of March 2026.
Thank you, Ms. Liendo. Just for the record, Dr. Ramirez just mentioned to me that these resolutions are sent by the governor. So it's not something that we come up with. Is there a motion to approve? There's a motion by Ms. Ramos.
I'll second it.
There's a second by Ms. Vela. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No, motion passes. Thank you. Comment, go ahead, Dr. Ramirez.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to recognize our grants office, both Mr. Gabe Lozano and Francisco Reyes, who have written numerous grants for us this year, this academic year, and have been extremely successful in helping us obtain some of the funding for a lot of our projects and programs. They've been working very closely with all of the departments, both on the academic and on our administrative side, and in their efforts in trying to find funding resources to help us throughout the year and to help our budget responsibilities. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Moving on, item 10, executive session. 10A, approval of the purchase of a South Campus surveillance camera recording system upgrade. 10B, approval for replacement of surveillance camera mesh equipment. 10C, discussion of initiation of the annual board self-evaluation pursuant to the Laredo College Board Policy BCG Local, Board in Internal Organization, board evaluation, including setting a timeline to conduct the evaluation, discussing evaluation criteria and instruments. 10D, discussion of initiation of the annual evaluation of the college president pursuant to Laredo College Board Policy DFE Local, Chief Executive Officer evaluation, including setting a timeline to conduct the evaluation, discussing evaluation criteria and instruments, and establishing goals and procedure pursuant closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074. Is there a motion? Ms. Ramos makes a motion? Who?
Second.
Second by Ms. Liendo. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against?
Mr. President, I noticed that on items 10A, B, and C, we need to reference the government code sections, and if I can, I can do it for you. So items 10A and 10B, the board will meet in executive session under section 551.076 of the Open Meetings Act. Item 10C, the section is 551.074.
Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No? Motion passes. So it is approximately 7:46, and we are about to go to executive session. We will be back. Good afternoon. It is approximately 8:09 p.m. We were in executive session. No action was taken. We are going to start off with item 11, discussion and possible action. 11A, approval for the purchase of South Campus surveillance cameras recording systems upgrade. Is there a motion? There's a motion by Ms. Benavides.
I second.
There's a second by Ms. Vela. All in favor? Anybody against? And just for the record, the judge is voting. Thank you. Item 11B, approval for replacement of surveillance camera mesh equipment. Is there a motion?
I motion.
There's a motion by Ms. Vela, second by Ms. Liendo. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No, motion passes. Thank you. Item 11C and 11D, I'll refer to Ms. Ramos. Go ahead, Ms. Ramos.
Thank you, sir. For 11C, I move that the Laredo College Board of Trustees approve the timeline for the board's self-evaluation as discussed in executive session.
Your motion? There's a motion by Ms. Ramos. There's a second by Ms. Liendo. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No, motion passes. Thank you. 11D.
For number 11C, I'm still with 11C. With number 2, I move that the Laredo College Board of Trustees approve the evaluation criteria and instrument to be used for the board's self-evaluation as discussed in executive session.
There's a motion by Ms. Ramos. Second, Ms. Liendo. All in favor? Anybody against? No, motion passes. Thank you. Ms. Ramos, 11D.
11D, for my motion is I move that the Laredo College Board of Trustees approve the timeline for conducting the college president's evaluation as discussed in executive session.
There's a motion by Ms. Ramos. Second by who? By Ms. Benavides Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No, motion passes. Thank you. One more, Ms. Ramos.
I move that the Laredo College Board of Trustees approve of the goals, instrument, and procedures to be used to conduct the college president's evaluation as discussed in executive session.
Motion, Ms. Ramos.
I second.
Second,
I
Ms.
second.
Bella. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? No, motion passes. Thank you. 12, President remarks and report. 12A, Campus Police Personnel and Travel Report. And 12B, President remarks and recent happenings in Laredo College.
Thank you,
Dr.
sir.
Ramirez.
Thank you, sir. As you can see, Well, in your board packets, you received an update from our campus police and personnel actions that have taken place recently. For travel reports, I do want to just let you all know that we have had several of our academic teams going on to conferences and staff to conferences to make presentations and have been doing extremely well at the state and national level, and so my commendations to all of them. As far as my remarks, we've had a lot of things going on from February, from the WBCA participation in both of the parades. Our float was recognized. We won several awards. They did an outstanding job. I've been meeting with a lot of the community leaders that were part of that WBCA. They were very happy with our participation and grateful for, as you heard, the presentation on our Fun Fest. So that is just one of the many activities that have gone on over the course of the last month. There's also, the fire department asked me to do a presentation for their leadership entitled Leadership Under Pressure, Conflict Resolution, Ethics, and Accountability in Today's Fire Service. And we hosted it here for them. They used our facility, but the feedback was very nice. The evaluations were sent to me by Fire Chief Hurd, and it was really an honor to present to them and try to give them some ideas about the conflict resolution and to hear their feedback on how their service is changing in a society that has different expectations from what they used to be. And so I think we learned a lot both ways, and so that was quite an honor. The chapel, I'm very grateful to Father Paul Fry, the former pastor of Christ Church Episcopal, who is volunteering to open our chapel on Wednesdays from 8 to 5. It is at no cost to the college. As you all know, the chapel has been graciously redone by our teams here, but using all of the donated furniture and paintings and figurines and things that were donated to us by the Fernando Salinas Trust. And we hadn't been able to open it because of personnel, not having someone that can sit there all day long to keep it open. And Father Paul Fry has been coming on Wednesdays. He's been very patient. People are coming to just sit and meditate during their lunch hours, during their break times. And so we're really thankful to him and certainly to the team for making it available to our campus community. On February 23rd, we had a TAC CEOs meeting to discuss the funding model from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. The funding model is right now being rediscussed for the next biennium, not this one, but for the next biennium, because all community colleges in Texas have exceeded expectations and the proposed budget for this biennium. And so it's interesting to hear their take on what's happened, but as you can see from the numbers that we presented to you today, we are exceeding all expectations and all of our targets, and so we're really grateful for that. On February 24th, we signed a memorandum of understanding with Texas A&M University Kingsville to facilitate transfer of engineering students. The LC engineering faculty, Ms. Juliana Kelly, Dr. Dakun Lee, and Dr. Orlando Patricio have worked real close with the faculty at A&M Kingsville and created a seamless transition and acceptance of our courses so that that the students who transfer to Kingsville don't lose any credits. And so we're really grateful to their president, Dr. Robert. I call him Dr. Robert. He's a good friend and was really kind and generous and received us at the campus. We had a great showing, and it was extremely wonderful for our own students who participated in that process. Today, on February 25th, we began the first inaugural cohort of UISD students who began their first class day of our CDL truck driving Class A program. The participants have the opportunity to earn a Class A CDL license, and so that project is moving forward, and we look forward to the initiation of the LISD cohort as well. The Males Project with the Council for the University, with the University of Texas at Austin. I do serve on that advisory board. We did meet late in February to discuss the considerations and potential changes to that advisory group because we do include females, and so the name is a little contingent, and so we're making some adjustments to that, but it's an honor to serve with the University of Texas at Austin. Today, we hosted the LISD Iron Chef competition. Laredo Independent School District every year has an Iron Chef competition, and they typically rotate it with amongst their high schools. And they asked our culinary instructors if we would host it on our South Campus in our kitchens. And Dr. Dave and I were asked to be judges, and the food was just incredible. It was incredible. Huh? My congratulations to LISD's Career and Technology Department and their instructors at each of the 3 high schools for the work that they did. A huge shout out to the Cigarroa High School culinary program who won the Iron Chef competition, but it was incredible. We will host the UISD group culinary program in the fall. So they have theirs in the fall, LISD in the spring, and so that's really nice. I do want to mention Alma Pierce Elementary School. On several occasions, they've invited me to their school, and this year on March 2nd, I was invited to the elementary school to read to about 70 students during Dr. Seuss Week. And their principal and their librarian are just incredible people, and the things they've done with that elementary school are really to be commended. And so my congratulations to them and my thanks for their invitation, open invitation always. I got to read the Dr. Seuss book again, Oh, the Places We Will Go, and it's always inspiring. And so I did also have a very productive meeting with the LC Education Foundation. Dr. Ortiz, Mr. Rene Gonzalez are part of that foundation, and they're planning a fundraiser for this fall, and they're also making plans for our 80th anniversary next year, and hoping to help with organize our gala for next year. And so that's also on track to happen. March 18th, we hosted a tour for our newly renovated law enforcement facilities at the South Campus with the advisory board. Each of our workforce programs requires an advisory board. They were hosting their quarterly meeting. We gave them a nice tour. And then this Monday, the TCOL accreditation visit occurred, and preliminary results of our visit were outstanding. So we'll wait for the 10 days to get the final results of that, but we're expecting nothing but the best. And our congratulations to Mr. Donald Hale and his staff, who have done a remarkable job there. And a thanks to the advisory people, because they do this on their own time. And lastly, 2 things. on March 19th, Laredo College was recognized by the Laredo Independent School District for our continued, I'm going to pass this down so you all can see this. They recognized um, Laredo College for continuing to support Laredo Independent School District students with free tuition for all of the dual credit courses. And so I want to take a moment to thank the LISD Board of Trustees, Mr. Goyo Lopez, their president, and Dr. Guillermo Pro, the superintendent, for taking the time to recognize the efforts and the work of our staff, of our team, our faculty, and certainly you all for approving the budget that allows us not to charge tuition and fees to the students from the dual credit program. And lastly, we're proud to announce, thanks to the efforts of Mr. Vela and a lot of people, because there's a lot's been going on, but his team, for the soft opening of our Palomino Cafe at the Geary Library. The cafe reopened, as you all know. Previously, the cafe was run by the bookstore, and since we have all electronic books now, we don't have a bookstore, and so we're now managing and running it in-house, and it is actually run by all students. We have a manager, and then we have students who are employed by the college and running the cafe, and it's been a huge success. We opened this week, and hopefully next time we can host maybe one of our committees in there, and you all can have coffee. So, so thank you all very much. We are also organizing, at the request of Judge Martinez, tours for the board to visit all of the 4 sites that we're under construction, to give you an update of where we are. And so Elizabeth will send that to you so that you can sign up for that. And with that, sir, I conclude my remarks and answer any questions.
Thank you. No questions, no comments? No? Thank you. 13, upcoming event, Saturday, March 28, 2026, 7 p.m. Go ahead, Ms.
Sorry, I do have one more. I do want to take a moment to recognize and announce that one of our former faculty members here from Laredo Junior College, Valeria Acevedo, passed away this week as well. She and her daughter Didi both worked here as faculty members this week, years ago. And so I do want to take a moment to just recognize and send our condolences to the family for their service to Laredo Junior College, Laredo Community College at the time.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez. Go ahead, Judge Martinez.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've taken care of that through my office for both of them. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Martinez. Thank you, Dr. Ramirez. 13, Saturday, March 28, 2026, 7 p.m. through 1 p.m., the big event. Friday, April 17, 2026, time, TBA, Laredo College South, Raquel Gonzalez Automotive Technology Center ribbon cutting.
It's the 16th, sir.
Correction, April 16th. Time is TBA right now. Saturday, April 18, 2026, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Laredo College Car Show at Laredo College South Campus. Tentative May 2026, time, TBA, Laredo College Lamar Bruni Vergara. Never mind, we already have Monday. It's Monday, May 4th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the Lamar Bruni Vergara. Friday, May 8, 2026, TBA time, Laredo College graduation at the Sames Auto Arena. Thank you, Jessica. Go ahead.
I think we're going to do 9, 1, and 4. Is that correct, Jess? I think. Yeah, I think we might do the 9, 1, and 4, just because if you all saw the numbers, 1,300 students is a lot. So We'll send you the clarification on that, but we're working to try to make sure, because we also have to look at how we're gonna break up the different degrees and students, because some of the students are bused from the high schools, and so we need to verify the times with our partners. And also, sir, on the Raquel Gonzalez ribbon cutting, that's gonna take place at 10 a.m. on April 16th.
For the record, 10 a.m. on that one. And just to make note, Ms. Bucanera, for graduation, if we could get the ropes for the board, for the May one, please? The robes. Yeah, the robes. Robes, sorry. Tentative Tuesday, May 26, 2026, time TBA, Laredo College, Dr. Domingo Arechica Hall, ribbon cutting. And lastly, we have our next board meeting, Thursday, April 30th, 6 p.m. Wait, I know. That's our regular board meeting, but we also will be having a board meeting on a special workshop on Saturday, April 11th, 2026 at 10 a.m. And that's the workshop that Ms. Bocanera has already sent. The workshop will be hosted here in this building, just so you guys could take note on that. And lastly, 15, motion to adjourn. There's a motion by Ms. Vela, second by Ms. Ramos. All in favor? Anybody against? No. Motion passes. It is approximately 8:29 p.m. and we adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everybody.